Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Rogue Trader.
I tread a path
Sorry,
unexplored.
just been playing War Tales, so I need to remember which keys do what. There we go, let's rotate. So we beat the Act 1 boss, I think, this Chaos Space Marine down here. He was a tough opponent, but we got through. We're going to head back to the ship. We've got to choose a new archetype and all characters.
Intriguing.
Probably going to have to spend a bit of time thinking about it. So what I'll do as I'm leveling up is, as I've been doing, I'll pause while I'm doing all my thinking. As one of my commenters has been sort of talking to me about as well, I think I need to do a lot of gear optimization. Again, I'll pause or do that off camera so that people aren't sitting there watching me weigh up very similar types of gun that may do very similar things, one of which may be slightly better. But when I've done that, we'll come back and I'll sort of talk through a little bit about the changes that I've made. Here we go. But there's probably going to be a little cutscene now, I imagine. Voxmaster Vigdis. Thanks be to the Emperor you are alive, your ladyship. We are most gratified by your return, and the crew is full of zeal to carry out any orders you may have. Before anything else, I will hear an account of what happened to the system's sun. The Voxmaster falters. Lord Captain, we saw a number of ships approach the sun. Black creations of inhuman make, amalgams of sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star and then... My apologies, but I struggle to find words that could describe that terrible sight. The Xenos made the sun vanish into the void. The interrogator closes his eyes and grimaces. Drakari. You see Abelard's expression change, as if a shadow has suddenly fallen over him. He rubs his temple wearily. As if we did not have enough troubles on our hands already. Okay, so I've got, well, Heinrichs, I should say, has succeeded in a Xenos check. So, the Xenos, enemies of humanity? Heinrichs nods. A breed of the Eldari, the most cruel and devious of their kind. Sorry, that's not his voice. A breed of the Eldari, the most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matches the description provided by the Voxmaster. Like all Xenos, the Drakari are a blight on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They abhor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on creations of their twisted intellect. And many of those creations are capable of things that may seem akin to sorcery to the unenlightened eye. The theft of a sun is one example of what they are capable of. They've stolen the sun. Is there any chance we could recover the Rykad star? Heinrichs glances at you with weary incredulity. Are you proposing that we ask for it back? No, Rogue Trader, the sun is lost. We must accept that as a fact and deal with the consequences. He glances around. The situation calls for immediate action, Dahlia von Brinicus. We can change this conversation later if you so wish, but right now. He gestures at the deck teeming with tumultuous activity. I believe you should assume command. What's happening on the planet now? Our augur operators are reporting numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the archenemy's powers at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communications picked up by our Vox operators, there is practically no resistance being offered by the governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult en masse and assembling in prayer circles. Do we have any hope of retaking the planet? I fear that Rykad Minoris is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave this system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to heresy and who are worthy of rescue. Besides the small number of our own shuttles, we also have the shuttles salvaged from the starport. The dark eyes of the Sister of Battle flash. We must save as many as we can. This has all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving the people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint and her followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all our efforts to saving those people who at this moment look to the heavens in hope of salvation.
The lives of peasants are of little value. Our prime directive is to save the holy relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the electro-priests who guard and tend to it.
Abelard furrows his brow.
Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we're putting ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Reichard Minoris. Von Valancia's dynasty cannot be allowed to perish, and so, lamentable though it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation.
Heinrich's eyes, like two deep dark pools, are resolutely fixed on you.
The world is doomed, and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was the final nudge toward death, the finale of the cult of the Final Dawn's plans. I once witnessed a similar event, a world that has surrendered to the servants of the archenemy and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down before those who promised them salvation, and they are willingly giving over their souls to chaos, a sacrifice great enough to bring forth a demon world. Our only hope of stopping this process is to retreat to a safe distance from the planet and conduct targeted bombing of the Electro-Priest's monastery. If we blow up the reactor, a thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing this, we will save millions of souls from a fate far worse than death, and we will save Reichard Minoris from becoming an outpost of the archenemy.
Whatever fate you choose for this world, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging flashes of crimson and purple. I can see it from orbit. As do I see that the storm is already upon us. With every moment that we waste, it grows ever more difficult and perilous to steer the ship through the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking. We need to get out of here while we still can. Something lurking in the depths of your consciousness bristles at the passing thought of saving people. The spike of horror you feel takes your breath away. It is as if you are planning to steal the prey of a mighty predator. The planet is already wrapped in a thread stretching out from the warp. It deserves to have a new master. Why can we not try to evacuate at least some of the people?
For the sole reason that the transformation process will soon become irreversible, and our sole weapon against it useless. The energy released by the bombardment could stoke the warp energies. I have never witnessed in the aftermath of a bombing a demon world before, but there is enough evidence of such attempts for me to say with confidence that you do not want to see it.
Okay, I'm not really going down a dogmatic route, but I do kind of agree with him. God, it's horrible, isn't it? But, you know, if we can't save them, you know, better to foil the enemy's plans for the planet, I think. So I'm going to go the dogmatic route. Set an optimal course and carry out an orbital strike on the Electro-Priest monastery. Reichard Minoris must fall. Yes, Lord Captain, I will immediately inform the navigation and artillery decks of the impending maneuver.
Heinrich inclines his head. The right choice, Lord Captain. May the sacred exterminatus cleanse this veil of corruption.
The bridge is in upheaval. The technomat's prayers mix together in a senseless cacophony, while servitors work hastily to remove a hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp engine's components. In the middle of all this tumult stands Pascal with the data slate clutched in his hands, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him. What's going on? Oops, I've picked the wrong thing. I don't know. I didn't. Oh, here we go. I meant to do what is going on here. Magos, why don't you assume control of the technomats? Surely their contribution will speed things up.
It would only be a hindrance. I am searching for a way to rectify the error.
Pascal is muttering without taking his eyes off the data slate. There is a certain anxiousness to the way he moves his mechadendrites. What's going on?
The warp sectant is not responding to commands. The ship's spirit is rejecting our prayers in anger. I am currently calculating a plea that might appease the noble spirit.
Crew, heed the word of Magos Hanuman. Pascal, I kindly request that you take charge of this mess.
Thank you, Lord Ladyship. Your Ladyship, you are right.
Pascal's voice changes when he addresses the crew. He now speaks with authority and resolve.
Deck comrades, heed my instruction.
The mayhem immediately subsides and the crew's actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omnissiah's servants start working in sync and the binaric clamour becomes a symphony of reports, which the Magos coordinates like a skillful conductor. Admirably done, Pascal.
The Omnissiah guides me.
prayers of the tech priests surrounding the cogitator almost drown out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hands, extends a mechadendrite towards you.
Please take your place in the cogitator, Lord Captain.
First, explain what we are doing.
I studied the data and discovered a machine node that was damaged as a result of the heretic sabotage. The functioning of the warp sextant was tampered with, and the ship's spirit, aggrieved by this violation of the right of operation, is now rejecting its calculations. I sought a way to rectify this error, and have concluded that your participation is necessary to do so. The cogitator systems of this temple of the Omnissiah are subordinate to the shell, whose repository serves the machine we see before us. A machine created for your predecessor, and one that uses the biological signatures of dynastic blood in its computations. The spirit should recognize the ship's mistress and submit to her will. Should.
Pascal speaks the final word with a slight tremor in his synthesized voice. That should sounded less than reassuring.
Lord Captain,
comes the crackle from Pascal's vox, part beleaguered sigh, part interference.
I'm still poorly acquainted with this void ship. The acolytes here have adopted their own customs for conversing with the machine spirits. They do not know me, and they express themselves in a little-known dialect of technolingua. I will trust in the Omnissiah that my analysis of the data was correct. It means we have a chance of appeasing the ship's spirit.
The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights and endless rush of symbols and digits on the green background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omnissiah's creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of a cyber gargoyle, the same as at the gate to the warrant chamber. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious force.
Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Senior technomats, recite the prayer to generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological protocol Omnissiah Rejoice. I must inform you that for the purposes of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating of its datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit this procedure.
Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands.
A minor deviation from the rule of operation, for the sake of appeasing the spirit.
What must I do?
Place your hand inside the throat of the cogitator guardian, the cyber gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it we will offer our prayers so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant.
Pascal's voice grows quieter.
The laws of the Omnissiah know no exceptions, and so in this ritual I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and we may receive his blessing.
Alright, we're gonna do it. The metal jaws clamp down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporeal sheath and releasing warm red liquid into its gullet. At the same moment, the image on the vid screen before you changes. Connecting, la 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 la, la, la. Gesture at the vid screen. What does it all mean? At the sound of your voice, the cogitator's servant, whose bronze-bound skeleton is built into the cogitator housing, shudders. With a screech, its skull rotates towards you and then stops in that position.
Benevolent code, a voice receptor.
Pascal emits a sequence of binaric signals and is then silent for several seconds.
I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal, but no processed response. Temporary override is permissible.
The Magos intently studies the vid screen.
The shell was created on a forge world unknown to me, initiating standard invocation of the machine spirit.
Pascal leans over the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins pouring forth from his vox. What should I do now?
Lord Captain, I now ask you to address the machine spirit. Speak the following command. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp sextant.
By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. One of the cogitator's vid screens turns red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priests, then withdraws the connector from his sleeve and connects it to the machine.
Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit, so that it may be filled with their true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls.
In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine, one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them into the cogitator's slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy sensor's foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from the loss of the blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you, and the world swims before your eyes.
Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity.
Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the vid screens. Suddenly, he stops dead.
No.
His fingers fly over the command runes, entering a command after command. His mechadendrites, clicking their pincers, pull at one lever after another. The vid screens fill with strings of symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Magos. Is everything alright? After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the cogitator begins to emit sparks. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flame and gives off foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah's servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out,
"The massive errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirit. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped."
A moment later, the Magos continues uncertainly.
"Perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils?"
The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. While the other vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Let's read the information on the screen. OS stab true, OS stab false, stat check, perturb, disturb. Query? Machine spirit, can you hear me? The cogitator servant creaks quietly in its joints, a sound that is drowned out by the binary hymns and the tapping of command runes. Require injury, rescue, query. Rescue? Yes, machine spirit, rescue us. Pascal turns to you.
"Lord Captain, the excessive motion in your command will render it unintelligible to..."
Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vid screens begin to stabilize one after another. The strings, frenetically galloping across the green background, are replaced with stable images or regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. The tech priest Vox crackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever.
"Registerings, warp sextant activated. Registering, data streams stabilizing. Registering, 0 data errors found. Reporting, the warp engine is ready for translation."
After a pause, Pascal adds,
"I am also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion, 'Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation.'"
Helmsman Ravor.
"Lord Captain, Ravor here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I didn't know what you did, but the warp engine's up and raring to go. We're ready to begin the translation to the warp, your ladyship."
Lord Captain speaking. I give the order to commence translation to the warp.
"Waiting for you to ascend to the captain's throne, Lord Captain. May the Emperor protect us."
It was a shame, but I think we did the right things within the bounds of this universe and setting. I think it would have been a mistake to allow the demons just to spread across the entire planet. Maybe I'm a monster. Possible to know.
The
His funeral.
Valentia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void ships plunged deeper into the Coronis expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Chapter 1 complete. Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orselio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibunda system. The Lady Navigator and her pilots are awaiting your permission to begin the process. The Furibunda system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with a functioning wharf in the Coronis expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp, and to allow the servants of the Omnici to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonus, Janus, and Kiava Gamma. Master Zachary Weiss has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading, I quote. Apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible. Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well, Dahlia von Berinicus. I will be leaving your void ship when we arrive on Footfall, Dahlia von Berinicus. Once that is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Your Ladyship, young Yvain Winterscale has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality, and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during a comprehensive system inspection rite, this unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and a sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Dahlia von Berinicus von Valancius has been added to the access list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator provided that she possesses the decryption key. You detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's mechanical voice. Are you leaving us, Heinrichs? The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no farther. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have, Dahlia von Berinicus. You're a skilled fighter, I could use people like you. What do you say we extend your stay in my retinue? Thank you for your offer, but I must decline. I'm afraid my duty to the Golden Throne comes before everything else. Argenta, who is this Reverend Hieronymus who wants to talk to me? He is the head of the Drusian mission on Footfall, and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your void ship, I request that we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. Vigdis, tell me about the system. Furibundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers and rogue traders traversing the Coronus Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by an Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off limits to outsiders.
Alter Templum Calixis X17. I had the honor of tending to this shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted.
What do I need to know about Footfall? It is the largest port and the trading capital of the Coronus Expanse. It is a dockyard that will allow us to inspect and repair the void ship, and it boasts its own astropathic choir, the Coronus Expanse Communications Nexus.
Not to mention pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. In the Coronus Expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely resemble its central worlds, but so long as Footfall serves the God Emperor, insofar as it can, it will be considered a citadel of the Imperium, although I've heard that the tithes it sends are, well, underwhelming to say the least.
Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the rogue traders who transcend certain Imperial laws by virtue of the warrant they bear. Abelard, do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall?
Well, Vladimir Takara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation a baptism of fire in Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Liege Takara is the appointee of the Casbala Commission, the largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calixtus sector. They specialize in the cold trade, the buying and selling of all kinds of Xenos rubbish. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladimir Takara, whose appointment benefits not only the Casbalica, but also their most powerful ally in the Coronus Expanse, namely rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. Vladimir is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he's no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Casbalican hierarchy. Keep all this in mind. You are a rogue trader. You stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Casbalican barons cross swords with rogue traders and emerge victorious. Do not forget that, and remain vigilant. The Casbalica, vile tech thieves.
Pascal's vox barks out the last word like a profanity. Why does the Liege want to see me so badly?
Well, not you personally. He wishes to meet with the rogue trader of the von Valancia's dynasty. Takara does not know about Lady Theodora's death, and is simply seeking an audience with the powers that be. My gut is telling me that something must be very wrong on Footfall if our astropath managed to read such strong emotion in such an anodyne message.
Astropath, not astropath. My English is showing. We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from the Footfall Astropathic Choir was the only missive Master Zachary has received lately. Footfall's just a brief stop. What next? Well, as soon as we resolve the issues plaguing the ship and establish contact with the key worlds of your protectorate, the time will come for your Magnae Accessio, the official ceremony of donning the mantle of the rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges granted by the warrant. And yet it is a major milestone in your personal history, the moment your name graces the list of heads of the von Valancia's dynasty. We're all looking forward to that day, Lord Captain. Alright, we'll tell the Lady Navigator I give her leave to make the translation from the warp into real space. Vigdis begins issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as hundreds of people start to prepare for the shift to real space, and measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel and its crew. Vigdis turns to you again. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Theodora's demise and you inheriting the title. Liege Takara will be informed that it is required so we can use the dock. And besides, he is expecting a personal audience with the rogue trader. he will not meet with an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there is still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station with the proper pomp and ceremony, or choose to visit it incognito. Okay, well, what are the pros and cons of those? Well, according to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue traders enjoy special privileges that exceed even the power of the Liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito may give you more room for manoeuvre, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs. I shall explain if you do not mind. According to the unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Liege's decisions. But there is a catch. The Coronis Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligos Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings in Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and a parade in your honour, the other dynasties may see this gesture as the newcomer challenging their spheres of influence. I do not see that as a bad thing, necessarily. Old man Winterscale may take slight offence. Corda will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to prominence, and most people in the Cronus Expanse have not even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear that the banner of von Valancia soars as high as ever. If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You will have plenty of opportunities to savour the sweetness and the burden of power, but right now is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way, your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person, and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. I was leaning towards incognito anyway, and I think that's probably swung it. I'm going to go incognito. It will be done, Lord Captain. Vigdis bows again. With your gracious permission, I will return to my duties. Cool, okay, we're on our bridge again now. So, this is probably my first opportunity to have a look at the new archetypes I can choose, so I'm going to go and do that now. So, I have Vanguard, an unstoppable force on the front line and a beacon for their allies. It doesn't sound like me. Even when facing extremely heavy fire, a Vanguard only grows stronger in the crucible of battle. Core focus, frontline leader, defensive support, temporary wounds, absorbing attacks, and attack redirection. Wondering if whether or not it's too late to kind of repurpose myself as maybe more of a frontline. Because what you can do with the fire thing is set yourself on fire and then use it to sort of fuel melee attacks and stuff. And I'm just wondering if I've been toying with the idea of maybe sort of repurposing myself as that. I mean, I think willpower is still important, so I don't regret buffing that up. But we're very low on this stuff. I don't know. So, unyielding beacon. Each attack against the Vanguard grants them a stack of unyielding beacon. Each stack increases their resolve by +1 up to a maximum of +15. And remember, resolve is what sort of gives us our ultimate attacks eventually. All allies in a 2-cell radius around the Vanguard gain 1/5 of that bonus. Okay. Temporary wounds applied to the Vanguard now stack, but only remain stacked until the start of the Vanguard's turn. Okay, so you have your turn and you've got all this stuff, then if you get attacked, it kind of uses it up. Okay. At the start of their turn, the remaining temporary wounds are reduced to the largest amount granted by one applied effect. If the remaining number of temporary wounds is less than the number of stacks of unyielding beacon, it becomes... Oh my god. Right, I can't think about that anymore. What does this do? Until the next turn, the Vanguard attacks each enemy that attacks the Vanguard's allies in a 3-cell radius. Huh. Okay. Interesting idea. I'll consider it. Master Tactician. Okay, so what was the previous? Okay. Always in the thick of battle, using their leadership and combat prowess, Master Tacticians are able to harness the momentum of their party to enhance the combat effectiveness of their allies and themselves. Primary goals: scaling with party success, long-term single-target buffs, momentum, and versatility. So we get Press the Advantage. Empowers their next attack to deal +4 additional damage for every stack of tactical advantage that we have. And tactical advantage stacks are, of course, You gain 1 stack of per every 5 momentum gained by the Master Tactician or their allies. So what does that do? Plus 4% damage for every stack. Oh, okay. We start battle equal to our fellowship bonus, which is 5. So, am I reading that right? Oh, okay. It's an activated skill, and it can give us currently plus 20% damage, but that'll go up. That's not bad, actually. Don't mind that. I'm Grand Strategist. Masters of battlefield positioning for themselves and their allies. The Grand Strategist is able to increase the battle effectiveness of their party by designating and strengthening important parts of the battlefield. Core focus, battlefield control, ally buffs, unique utility, enemy debuffs, keystone feature, combat tactics. You analyze the battlefield and can create specific areas providing bonuses to all allies, including ourselves. Frontline, backline, and rear. In the first turn, all 3 areas can be created. In the following turn, only one of them can be created. All areas can be moved with the corresponding abilities and cannot overlap. There are 2 or more grand strength. The combat tactics are all problems. I don't really understand this. We always act first in combat. Okay. It's complicated, but I think so. You create an area, 3 areas on the battlefield. So you're going to put like front line on your melee guys, backline or rear. Not quite sure how they differ on like your ranged units. And these areas will confer bonuses to the people within them. And you can create different new areas per turn, and you can also move them around. It sounds like so. It's okay. That's interesting. Chooses one area. Every ally inside that area gains an additional turn. Ah. I mean, it sounds complicated, but actually I think that does sound quite interesting. I guess for me, it's do I want to be a support character? Pretty much for the rest of the game. Or do I want to kind of build towards being a frontliner and going in heavy with stuff like this and getting all the temporary wounds and setting myself on fire and hitting stuff and setting other things on fire? And I think probably yes. That does sound quite good. But I like the idea of a grand strategist. Who else has access to that? For instance, does... Well, she's not going to be with me. I do need to level her up, though. I'll do it off screen. Okay, so Cassia could be a grand strategist. Where's... Oh, yeah. As can Pascal, but Cassia has the same choices as me, effectively. I think I might make her the grand strategist. I think I'm going to go Vanguard. I just like the idea of wading in, clobbering stuff. Obviously, I'm not set up for it at the moment, but as we level, we'll make ourselves more effective there. I think within another 3 or 4 levels, that will be at a decent level compared with others. So each attack grants us a stack of this. Each stack increases our resolve. Is this a passive or a... I guess it is. Is it that good though? I mean, I would like to see kind of the entire tree. Well, I suppose, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to do it. I'm doing Vanguard. It is done. It is done. We'll need a few levels to kind of build that up a bit more. Interested to see how it goes, to be honest. Okay. I'm going to do a lot more reading now, but I'll pause here and then just sort of come back and just talk through the characters once I've done my thinking, I think. See you in a moment. Okay, so this is where I've ended up. I made Adira a Grand Strategist, but she's not really going to be in my party, so I won't linger on that too much. But I made Cassie a Grand Strategist, as I said. As we remember, she can create zones that give people buffs in battle. For Argenta, I made her an Arch Militant, and what they do... I might have to... I think at some point we'll get a sniper character, but I'll have to sort of make her a bit more of a skirmish character, I suppose, with sort of shorter ranged weapons that can also come in and do melee attacks. Because basically, I'll read it out. Versatility. Whenever the Arch Militant uses an attack that is of a different type to their previous attack, they gain a stack of versatility. And stacks of versatility provide +5 weapon skill and ballistic skill for the whole of combat, as far as I can tell. And the different types of attacks can be single shot, single melee attack, area shot, or burst shot. So I'm imagining she could go in and shoot something with a burst, attack with melee, and that will give her a stack of this. If she achieves 4 or more stacks, they gain an additional weapon skill divided by 2, or plus ballistic skill divided by 2 damage, whichever's highest. So at the moment that's ballistic skills, that'll be 3, extra 3 damage, I think. But I think that could work well. Abelard, I made an assassin. The reason for this is, so he gets this skill, Seek the Opening. The assassin sees a single opening for each enemy on one of the enemy's sides. I don't really get the side thing, but I'm sure it'll become apparent. I guess they've got 4, their sort of square has 4 sides to it, doesn't it? So whenever the assassin hits an opening, they deal an additional plus 10% of target's max wounds damage. So say they've got 40 health, he'll do an extra 4 damage. After an attack, the opening is moved to the opposite side, and this is the reason why I picked Abelard, because he's got that skill that allows him to kind of flip over to the opposite side of an enemy and get an attack there. Basically, that's the whole reason I picked that for him. It was either him or Heinrichs that was going to pick that, and Heinrichs doesn't have that skill. So Heinrichs, I made an Arch Militant. We've already covered that with Argenta. He's kind of a sword in one hand and a pistol in the other, so he kind of already can do that. Doesn't really need any further explanation. And Pascal, mainly for variety as much as anything, I made a Bounty Hunter. So his thing is hunt down the prey. So he can mark any enemy in combat as prey. I guess that's just a targetable ability. Whenever he kills a target with that mark, they gain a stackable bonus until the end of combat, which the bonus changes depending on the difficulty tier of the enemy. So if they're a 1 or 2 level enemy, then Pascal will get plus 25% as temporary of his health as temporary wounds. So at the 50, that's going to be an extra 12, 13, depending if they round up or down temporary wounds every time he kills something. That's pretty good. But if it's a more difficult enemy, like 3 to 4 levels, he'll gain critical damage and critical hit chance. And if it's a level 5 to level 7 enemy, he gets both. Hunt down the prey has 3 charges at the start of combat, so he can do that 3 times within a combat, which I think is fine because combats don't tend to last a huge amount of time. So that's him. And that is what our party now looks like. So we're in this new place. I think what I might do now, at the risk of pausing again, is I might do the thing where I just want to optimize my gear, really, in terms of armor and particularly weapons for each character. So I'm going to do that now, which means I'm going to pause again. And I'm just going to go through not just my inventory, but also the ship's inventory, some of the stuff I've stored. Some of those guns may be better than what I'm using, but I'll come back when I've gone through that process. Okay, this is kind of what I've landed on. I've switched out the helmet I was wearing, which gave me +1 resolve per enemy killed. I mean, it was okay. But I've taken this one off of Abelard. This is going to give me an extra 10% armor, effectively. Plus, it'll boost that further with Iconoclast rank as well, which is, you know, something I'm building towards. So that's good. Because remember, I'm going to try and be a bit more melee focused now. So I've gone from 25% to 35% armor. Dodge is still pretty high. Parry could be better. I've gone with the serrated knife. I took out the ship's cargo. Chance to inflict bleeding, 7 to 10 damage. I did start out with the noble sword. It looked like it could do a decent amount of damage, but both of its actions cost an extra AP. So the basic attack was 2 AP and everything. So I've gone out with that now. I think I'm going to try and switch that out at some point for maybe something a little bit different. But I thought I'd give that a go for now. And I've got my stub revolver there. Not too much different here on Cassia, except I've given her a sniper rifle just in case she's so far from the action that she needs to take a shot. But I don't think that'll really be needed that often. Argenta, as I said, we're going to maybe get her a bit closer to things and switch up her attacks a little bit. So I've gone with Abelard's Officer's Chainsaw sword. And I've given her the precise las pistol I had as well. This is a burst weapon, but it does reduces enemies' dodge. It's a little more accurate, like the recoil penalty on the burst isn't quite as much as the ordinary las pistol. So I thought that could work well. She's still got her sniper rifle too. Abelard, not too much different. The only thing I've added is in his second weapon set. He already had the pistol, but I've just given him a shock baton as well. I can't really see a reason why he'd need to use that, but, you know, why not? Because he was only having that. I mean, I could give him... I could give him another revolver, I suppose, and he could be sort of... Yeah, maybe I will do that, actually. Maybe that would be an idea. Why don't we give him the other revolver? So he's gonna be Dirty Harry now. As for my offhand thing, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll give myself the shock baton just for now. I can't really think of another thing to do. Heinrichs. So using the Force Sword, using Foe. I don't think I've changed Heinrichs at all, to be honest. And then with Pascal, the only thing I've done is I switched out the arc rifle he was using. That was okay. But I've given him the plasma gun now, which I think is will be a lot better. Yeah, so there we go. That's kind of the changes to our gear. I guess we'll probably... Should we land on the planet now and just see what that's like? Every time I think the load screen's not going to be that long, it's a little bit longer than I'm comfortable with. Oh, okay. Master Helmsman Revor. Lord Captain! Revor's voice over the Vox sounds weary rather than annoyed. I'm getting the reports of several ships moving towards us. Judging by the fact that they're not responding to our hails and the telemetry shows a trail of micro-batteries. They're not here for a chinwag. Ready to issue orders to prepare for battle at your command. Could this be the work of Conrad Voigtveer? The silence over the Vox lasts for several seconds. Hey, well, it's possible. He could have hired some scum, or maybe it's just a pirate who saw the state of our ship and decided to push his luck. Where did they come from? Why haven't you noticed them before? The rubbish of the Furibundus. I'm not talking about these wrecks that are about to open fire. I mean the remains of meteorites, gas clouds, refuse from the shipyards. It all bunches together, and the smaller ships hide behind it to harass ships as they emerge from the warp. Can we evade? Revel snorts or perhaps chuckles. I don't think so, Lord Captain. There'd be no reason to. It'll be easy to blast these scum to smithereens than to evade them. Well, one footfall we're coming with a few macro salvos. Alright, so we're getting introduced to the ship-to-ship combat now, which I've not done before. I think it was in the beta, but I didn't get that far in it. So, yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
I can see crimson lights in the void.
Now, we have upgraded our ship somewhat. So we've got two... Okay, here we go. So I'm going to read these tutorials. As I said, I've not played this before, this ship combat. Battles in space and the surfaces of planets work quite differently from one another. Ooh. Okay, in the space combat, the battlefield is separated into 3 zones marked by various degrees of brightness. Acceleration zone, mid-movement zone, end-movement zone. Okay, ships travel at high speeds even during combat, which is why both your ships and those of your enemies must move a certain distance each round. You can only end your turn once your ship has traversed this minimum required distance upon entering the end movement zone. To move the ship, click left mouse button on any accessible cell on the battlefield. Once you do, you'll see a hologram, blah 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 blah. Right, so that's movement anyway. Alright, so... I have no idea what I'm doing here. Why is my Supreme Commander post vacant? Okay. Restart shields. We could do a ram. If I came here.
Chart a course.
Your ship is equipped with an arsenal of weapons which differ in terms of range of fire and offer you a variety of ways to assault your opponents. The ship can attack with each of its weapons once per turn. Note these can be fired as the ship moves, as attacking does not end the ship's movement. Each of the ship's weapons has a separate attack action on the panel at the bottom of the screen. You can click on attack's icon to view its firing arc and consider what position on the battlefield would be most advantageous. Select an attack action on the panel at the bottom, click a ship. Each turn, yeah, it's already said that. Alright, okay, so I was going to ram, but it's now telling me I can't do that, I guess because I turned. So we want the port side to attack there, I suppose. 80% chance to hit.
Unleash our wrath upon my enemies.
Okay, not too bad. Oh, some ships are protected by shields. To deal damage to such an enemy, you must first pierce their shields. 2 shield arrays cover the ship's side, 1 protects its bow and 1 its stern. When facing an enemy ship equipped with shields, choose your angle of attack wisely and direct your fire at a side where the shields are weakened. Shields recover each round. We're protected by shields. Our damage shields do not recover at the start of the turn. Instead, they can be restored using the restart shield action. Okay. Reduces our combat efficiency. We'll have reduced movement speed and firing range on the next round. Okay. Can I not just rotate? What's this? Alright, well they look like they're almost dead, so why don't we... Okay, that's the prow, so I can't... Okay. We can hit them with this though.
Macro cannons! Annihilate them!
Oh, we missed. We can't do anything with that. Yeah, I'm guessing we can't just move on a dime then. Okay, well I've got to move, apparently. I guess we'll come around a bit. Still can't do anything with those. Okay. Looks like he's hightailing it out of here. Turn, not an amazing turning circle, is it? I guess that's what we'll do. The BDS Unforgiven. Boring dad shit. Right, oh, can't do that, can't do that, can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. Right, that's our go then, I suppose, isn't it? What are we doing? Are we retaliating? No? It's saying it's taken that shield. Where's he off to? Little bastard. Yeah, I'm going to do the full movement. I'm going to hit him with my big prow weapons.
Send them into the cold void.
Okay. disengaging, so we're still chasing. We carry on chasing. We can use this again. Ah! Ugh. Okay. He's actually left battle, hasn't he? Okay. What about my stern? Have I got stern weapons? No. Well, I'll start to come about, I suppose. We'll come back in this direction, though, looking at where my big shields are. Just seeing if they're gonna be hit by a meteor. Alright, not much I can do. They'll close, and I should be able to do it next go. Okay, so starboard side, we can hit them.
Unleash our wrath upon my enemies.
Void ship ran, yeah. I've used the starboard. So we'll start to come
Steer
about.
us to our target.
Okay. I really need to go. Oh, God, it's taking me so long to come about. We're gonna hit them with that.
Unleash the storm of macro cannons. Unleash our wrath upon my enemies.
There we go.
They
I think I'm getting used to that. I'm not very maneuverable. Enemy attacks can penetrate your shields and damage your ship's hull. This damage remains after the battle is over and must be repaired. Open the Void Ship Management screen to make repairs. We can use scrap to repair. Okay. Yeah, I used a lot of my scrap to upgrade. I didn't use all of it though. Yeah, add to cargo. What is it? Add to cargo. I assume it's been added to cargo. Right. Interesting. So yeah, so let's repair the hull. I think heavily implied that we should start off at footfall. So let's go do that. Dead World, I don't know what that is, but we will find out. So footfall. Yeah, we'll go to the dock, I suppose. Can I just deselect her? I did level up. I wasn't particularly careful in how I leveled her up, I must say. I wasn't expecting to get her back. I'm hoping we get Heinrich's back. But we've got Adira back for now. Yeah. Alright. I'll try to warm to Adira. Liege representative. Your ladyship, forgive me for not welcoming you with the appropriate obeisance. We were told you would prefer to arrive on footfall incognito, and so we're trying to attract as little attention as possible. I'm here on behalf of the Liege of Footfall, Lord Vladimir Takara. The Liege awaits the chance to speak with you at his residence, but if you happen to have other business to attend to, I can serve as your guide and tell you about the station. Cassia's lip curls slightly. This is so familiar. Behind the amber-coloured scattering of words of welcome, far less appealing hues lurk, murky and diluted. The look of someone accustomed to lying and hiding their intentions. Adira jerks her head, shakes it and hisses through her teeth. Someone's coming, and they're coming for us. Watch out, Lord Captain. Ablard sighs and casually places his hand on his weapon. Who's coming? Judging by the voices, there's a lot of them. Angry. They've got teeth, but they aren't that sharp. Their strength is their numbers. Pray, what are you talking about? What could you mean by such a cryptic She doesn't get to say the rest.
Hey, newcomers! How's this for a warm welcome?
Well, I'd say it's not particularly warm, actually.
The absurdity of your struggle amuses me. Give me
Okay,
strength.
Cassia. So we've got quite a few enemies. Are they all around us or just ahead of us? They're just ahead of us. Okay. What are they? There's a Adira. Ugh. Okay, Adira. I'll pop you there. I think I'm too far back. Remember, I want to be a bit more up close to the action now. So let me put myself there. Blood. I'll put you there. Pascal. We will have you on this side. Oh, and Argenta as well. Okay. Start you there. So Cassia. What have we got here? Oh, these are her little things, and they're all free at the moment. So let's look at the bonuses they get. So the frontline. All allies in the frontline gain a plus 13% bonus to armor, and all enemies suffer 13% more damage from any source. It's not bad. The backline. Enemies gain cover, efficiency, dodge, and dodge reduction, and then the rear get 13% range damage. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. So she can do 3 at the start of this, so I guess the question is, where are our zones going to be? I don't need to do it now. What I might do is I might get these guys to move a little bit. Gonna do a little bit of that.
Face the navigator's might.
Even the score a little bit. Can I get both of these to move? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This should get both.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? Try to die with grace at least.
There he is. So they're going to be a bit tough to take down. So why don't we say that they're front line? Rear is going to be range damage and stuff. So I can put that. I'm just going to be doing the ranged. Don't have a lot of range in the party now. If we're all trying to be more like front liners.
I'm afraid not. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Kind of moved. And cover bonuses. Well, let's put that on Argenta for now. No. Fussy about where they can be. I'm gonna put cover bonuses on here though. Can I rotate it?
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Okay, so not bad. That's Adira. She can do similar. So if we put a front line no.
Will do. Anything else?
Could this be a front line? Okay. Oh, she can't do the others. Okay. Oh, what's that?
Help me, Lord Captain.
Right. Can this weapon only burst? Single shot, deadeye shot. Yeah. Oh, it's because of the proximity to this, yeah? Okay. I get it.
You, my emperor! Doubt is for the weak.
Oh.
I'll do it. Guided by fate.
Nice parry. Okay, so now we're here. Let's do a little burst on him. Ooh. Okay, that's 1 AP. So if I do like a focused fire, that's 1 AP too. Good. Okay, we can do both of these then.
Worthless.
And then I'll try and get all of these in here. Oh, I don't know why it was showing all those before, and now it's not. I really get that. Did it reduce the range or something, or was I just misreading it before? Okay, not bad.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Right, me. I mean, if I'm a close unit now, I think I'm going to have to come in and just lightning all of these.
I need no guidance. Death shall reign.
I mean, it increased that, but hopefully we can get away with doing too much more.
I will
More
triumph.
strength.
Ruin beckons.
Oh wow, all coming in.
That's gonna hurt.
Ooh, Cassia. She got the dodge. She's very good dodge, so she's taking a bit more damage than I would have expected her to. Now, Abelard. Okay. So that's the weakness, right? Where's his weakness? I mean...
I will do my duty.
think that's good for us now. So much for Argenta's cover. Okay, yeah, I think we move. And then we'll do another one over here on our ultimate ability.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Let's do a sworn enemy on one of these guys as well.
For von Valancius!
Right, we're going to do another cleave. We're hitting all of those. We're hitting Cassia as well. Why is that doing such a big... Oh. What's the shape of that? I don't really want to hit Cassia with it. Think if he's here.
My place is at the fore.
No, he's still hitting Cassia. Ah, she'll be fine.
Open your eyes, or I'll open mine.
Do it again. No, let's do single strikes now. Let's not get
Victory
silly.
is one fewer turn. I took care of this one.
We're out of those now. Let's just move up
Follow
to this
my
group
lead.
over here. Okay. Okay then, Pascal. Here's plasma shot. Plasma overcharge in an area. I think maybe we just come in and do a cleave. What's that then? I was going to hit Cassia as well. That's better. Oh, he's still going. Hello. Well, that's it for his attacks. Oh, let's see, you got energy. Oh, okay, well, we want to get rid of this guy, so if we do X. Oh, that's no good. Kind of want to hit him with this. He's only got 5 hit points, which he parried. Let's give Pascal an attempt. He can do that again in this area. Yeah, I didn't really use that ability in this fight, but I think that's fine. Because it's going to be over momentarily.
I am a navigator, not a servant. Now you're clad in scarlet.
There we go. The shivering young servant looks up at you with horror in his eyes. Emperor, protect me! They killed... Every time I warn them and then they go all, "Dear Emperor, our Lord and Saviour, how could this have happened? Who could have thought?" Adira spits on the ground in annoyance. Some quivering, unwashed worm and answer me. Who would dare to attempt such an outrageous attack? Your ladyship, those guys were Anvers. They're a gang. They're the worst, I'm telling you. They're scared of no one, not even Lord Liege Takara. He glances around as he's expecting more bandits to appear. Does this sort of thing happen often around here? Shooting, yes. Attacks on nobles, not very often. Unless it's the Anvers. Oh, they're vicious. Not a week goes by without them killing and gutting somebody. They're wicked heretics. They respect nothing. They follow no rules. Alright, go and report this to the Liege. Yes, I'm sorry, your ladyship. I'll just go report to the Liege. They killed her. Oh, they killed my lady. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, so we've got a fresh injury. So who's my...
I woke up with a feeling of wonder.
House Orcelia thanks you.
There we go. Okay, so what have we got around here? Let's see what they had on them. Okay, quite a lot. I might take a chainsword instead of the... Oh, I put it there. Chainsword instead of the dagger I'm using. We also have a combat shotgun. That's interesting. Some flak armor. I think that's pretty basic, so that can all go to cargo. The shock. I've got I had so many shock batons in storage. And weighty axe. That's a one-handed weapon. Okay. Well, these can go. Are they all weighty? Yeah. Okay. We'll have a look at those. They might be a good substitute for what I've been using. And I think that was everything. So I think we'll leave it there for now. When we come back next time, we'll carry on exploring Footfall and hopefully be a bit more welcoming than it was just then. But thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, if you could hit the thumbs up button, that'd be amazing. You could leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the end of Act 1, arriving here in Act 2, any sort of choices I've made in the gearing and leveling. Let me know your thoughts. Always happy to hear them. And if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel, it'd be amazing if you could do that too. So thanks very much one last time, and I hope to see you next time for more Rogue Trader. Bye for now.